It was a crisp autumn night when my friends and I decided to fish at a secluded beach about an hour from town. The moon hung low over the water, casting silver reflections that danced with every wave. We set up our chairs and rods, eager for the quiet thrill of a night catch, unaware that the stillness held more than just the sound of lapping waves. The air was heavy, carrying a scent of salt and damp sand. As we cast our lines, the beach remained eerily empty. I noticed movement far in the distance, a figure slowly walking toward us. At first, I thought it was another fisherman, but the way he moved, slow, deliberate, and almost menacing, sent a chill down my spine. The man approached silently, his dark jacket blending with the night. His hood hid most of his face, but I could make out sharp, calculating eyes staring directly at us. "What are you boys doing out here?" he asked in a low, gruff voice. There was no smile, no friendliness, only an air of quiet intimidation that made my friends and I exchange uneasy glances. Kevin, the most outgoing of the group, replied cautiously that we were fishing. The man nodded slowly, scanning our equipment with a disconcerting intensity. He didn't introduce himself or explain why he was here. He simply observed, standing like a shadow frozen in the moonlight. Every instinct screamed at me that something was wrong, but I forced myself to stay calm, trying not to provoke him. After what felt like an eternity, he finally turned and walked away without another word. Relief washed over us, though it was fleeting. We kept our lines in the water, but every rustle of the wind through the trees, every distant crash of waves, felt amplified, as though he were still watching from the darkness. We tried to ignore it, focusing on fishing, but an uneasy tension had settled over the night. A few hours later, I noticed another sound, a faint scratching coming from the wooded edge of the beach. My heart started racing. I couldn't see anything, but I felt the unmistakable sensation of being observed. Kevin suggested it might be an animal, but deep down, I knew it wasn't. We packed some of our gear and decided to be cautious, keeping a careful eye on the shadows around us. Suddenly, I realized something horrifying. The man's silhouette had reappeared, now at the edge of the water, just watching us. He made no move, no sound, only stood there like a sentinel in the night. The hairs on my neck stood on end. Kevin whispered that we should leave immediately, and I agreed. We slowly packed up everything, making sure not to draw attention, and quietly slipped toward the car. As we approached the vehicle, my stomach sank. Our tires were slashed, and the driver's side window was smashed. Panic surged through me. Whoever this man was, he had been following us, waiting for the right moment to make his presence known. I immediately called 911, keeping my eyes on the shadows as I spoke, trembling at every small sound. We heard rustling in the trees, the unmistakable crunch of footsteps on gravel. Adrenaline took over, and we ran for cover behind nearby dunes, hearts pounding in unison. Within minutes, police cars arrived, lights flashing across the deserted beach. The officers quickly assessed the situation, gathering evidence from the knife left on the sand and checking our car for further damage. In the aftermath, the man was gone, vanished without a trace. Nothing was recovered beyond the immediate evidence of the attack. We were told he may have been a transient, someone familiar with the isolated beach, but no one knew for sure. Even now, thinking back to that night, I can still feel the weight of his gaze, the quiet menace that lingered in the darkness long after he disappeared. That night changed everything about how I approached solitude. I no longer take the quiet of nature for granted. There is always the possibility that someone is watching, waiting for the perfect moment to step out of the shadows. Some encounters aren't just stories, they are warnings, reminders that the peacefulness of a night by the water can hide more than just fish beneath the waves. Even as I tell this story, I can remember every detail: the glint of moonlight on his jacket, the slow, deliberate pace of his footsteps, the sense of being hunted, and I know that somewhere out there, he could still be walking the same beaches, silently observing anyone foolish enough to be alone in the dark.